The arts is something that nobody can take away from us. That's key to our existence. We all listen to music growing up. That's part of our identity. If not music, we read poetry, we read books, we saw TV, even TV's art, right? Acting, live theater, that's the form of art, and just so much discipline that goes into the arts. I'm sure everybody knows that. So I just wanted to express some of the work that I've been fortunate to do with Legacy LA. I'm a Mexican folk musician. I've been playing mariachi music since I was 12 years old, professionally since I was 19, and I'm in my mid 30s now. So I've been doing this for a long ass time, and I've been doing it in different variations in an all women's group. I recently was just in the world's first LGBTQ um, mariachi, you know, and it's like two conflicting worlds, right? Where it's mariachi is machismo, it represents a specific culture where it's only okay to cry if you're drunk and listening to chente. That's not true. Men can cry at any time. Anybody can cry at any time, and it's my purpose in life to show that and to express that with not only the youth, but I also through ACTA I work in a prison, and I get to go in there and talk to people who are incarcerated, and then during the week I get to go and talk to their kids, or not literally, but that's not only repairing bonds, but society is so different, and some of these people have been locked up for years. It's like, hey guys, don't think that there are payphones out there, because you don't have payphones. You have to get in touch with technology and society, right? So awesome. So thank you all for the kind words, but I want to show you all something super something that I'm very proud of that we worked on during the pandemic. So this here belongs to you. This, did I share the wrong screen? Awkward. This belongs to you, and I'm going to tell you what it is right now. Here we go. Y'all see these I forget what we call them. This is a mural. Betty, can you remind me what the word we use?
Panels?
The panels, there you go. So if you can see closely, come on, load. These panels were created during the pandemic through Legacy LA's YAB space, the Youth Advisory Board, if you all are interested with that. And what it is, it's a mural, including different panels. And I'm gonna ask Cassandra right now to kind of talk about the actual process of the panels. But these words are your words. Porque hay que restaurar nuestra identidad. Because we need to restore our identity. Porque hay que sanar para transformar la ciudad. Because we have to heal in order to transform the city, right? So kind of taking this idea of restorative justice. What is that? It's not about calling the police, coming to get you, going in front of the judge and getting a sentence. It's like this idea of everybody makes mistakes, and sometimes our trauma kind of leads us into a certain path. So how about we, instead of giving more money to police, to the prisons, this is profit. Like, we're not supposed to be caged up like animals. That's not going to fix anything. We're trying to fix things, and using art to kind of open up that idea, right? Cassandra, would you like to talk about the actual process? Thank you.
Yeah, I can share a little bit. So hi everyone, Cassandra, pronounce her, hers again. And I know we're here to talk about the youth development department. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that. But this kind of is an opening to that, right? It was a process that we as young people throughout a youth advisory board, which is part of the Invest in Youth campaign, we wanted to be able to share, why this department was so important, something that put together our thoughts and our dreams and just what we wanted to do. And what we wanted this department to really look like, and why the voices of young people were so crucial and important to this department, because it's a youth development department, they have to listen to young people. So our form of expressing that, our form of really getting the word out there, was creating these panels that had our art, that had our history, that had all this knowledge and all of the words that we collectively put together as young people on a Zoom call like the one we're on today, And it was our way of sharing that, not only with people who may not know about, the importance of youth power or our communities or that collective liberation that we wanted to see, not only to share that knowledge, but to also get the word out there that, hey, like this is some dope ass change that young people can lead. And it's time for you to start listening to these young people if we really do want to transform the city. If we want to have these changes, we have to begin listening to young people. If we want to move forward, young people are part of that. So it was really a crucial moment, a really important piece of something that we can also come together today as we're expressing, what it is we want to see in a youth council within this new development department that is meant to serve young people. So again, these panels just kind of express all of these thoughts that we had as young people. And one of the quotes right there, right, that we have, it's like, que no entre por un lado y salga por otro. That it doesn't just go in through one ear and come out through the rest. Like if we want people to actually listen to young people and not just be hearing us, because if we come together, if we do this work, right, we're going to be able to make it happen. And in order for all this change to occur within our city, to young people to actually be listened to, they have to start looking and listening in a real way to young people and their voices. So we try to express that through the words, through the wheat pasting that's in the background, and just it was a collective effort that a few of us were able to put together. But I'll pass it back to you, Nessa.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. I'm not talking to myself. All right. So we have a couple minutes left, and I just want to show you. So we created something from nothing, literally from an idea. Hey, you know that mural on Soto and Chavez? Let's create something that shows the story of Boyle Heights, but through the lens of the youth. So I'm trying to. We created the conversation. We had the conversations. We created the song. We created the panel, and through myself and all of these beautiful community members, musicians who are like world famous, who are so important in the Chicano music scene in here in LA. We've got our friends Raul Pacheco from Ozamatli. We have Dante I can never say his last name, I'm not even gonna try. He's a bass player. He's a phenomenal musician. We have Evan from the Banquet Sal on drums, and he's got a million projects. And over here we have a percussionist, Alberto Lopez, and my former co-teacher in prison, Matt Amper, on the keys. And I just want to play a couple minutes of what you all's power created. All right, y'all got the idea. We created something beautiful, and I just want to inspire everybody to keep creating, keep making, keep being. and to not be afraid to use your voice and to express yourself. Let's get into this, Cassandra.
Yeah, so you might be thinking, right? Like, how is this connected to building power within the youth development department? How am I, as a young person, learning about music, learning about art, but also making this impact, right? Well, these are mediums that usually we don't think of when mobilizing or when activating ourselves, and trying to get the word out there that, hey, this is a change that I want to see. So it's really bringing in a different way for adults to listen to us as young people, and helping identify those youth adult relationships that the city tends to have, these relationships where adults have all the power and they tend to like keep it to themselves and just say, oh, young people are the future, but they kind of like throw it off as like an off statement where they're just saying they'll do it eventually, like they have the power, right? But our city has like a very unique chance to bring in ourselves, like as young people, to really give us the resources that we need and give us a power that we potentially didn't have before. It's our chance to really transform those relationships and to say, I want to see more investment in my community in the arts. I want to see more investment in my community in STEM, in like math, in art, maybe in theater, maybe you want more science classes, but it's an opportunity for us to come together and say, what do I really want to see? And how can I begin to transform a government entity? Because really, it's something that we can be able to do, right? So I want to lead us in a conversation where, again, this isn't me speaking at you. It should be all of us kind of like speaking together and just talking about how we can really build that power inside a youth development department and how we can begin to take ownership of something that is new, something that we made happen, because it's not just, invest in youth, it's young people from all over that city that made this development department happen. So I just want to share my screen real quickly to share with you all, and invite you all to take notes, maybe if you feel called to, on what traditional youth services look like and how the city tends to see us when it comes to like investment, when it comes to new power, when it comes to like services that providing. So traditional youth services and traditional ways in which we as young people are seen, and feel free to like drop it in the chat if this resonates with you. If you want to speak up, you can raise your hand, but again, feel welcome to like speak up. But most of the time as young people, we're being seen as objects, and that's something that I want to point out, where we're being tokenized just because we're young for our age. So adults tend to see themselves as like, oh, I know what's best for young people because I was young once, or I know what to do for you because I was a young person, right? So young people are being tokenized like, hey, I have young people here, right? Like they're getting a service. So that's usually how services are, right? We're just not having any control over a situation. Adults are typically the ones in power, they're making decisions. And I don't know if you all have seen this before in your schools. Maybe you've seen this somewhere else where they're like, oh, arts? No, we don't need that. Like we can add more other programs. We don't need arts. So young people are seen as objects. They're seen as tokenization. Actually, also other folks forgot what it's like. Betty, thank you for that. But yeah, there's a lot of times where adults are like, yeah, I know what to do. I know what you need. I'll take these decisions and I'll make them for myself. And that's traditionally what you'll see. If you all disagree, or if you're saying, oh yeah, that resonates with me. This might be some form of like youth service that you've seen before. But other times, young people are seen as recipients, where adults are actually, young people are part of that decision making power. Maybe you're sitting on a Zoom call like us with a school director or a principal or a teacher, and you're like, you know what, in my next lesson, I want to learn this, because I think this is what we should be learning about. But youth are really just receiving information, they're just getting things to them, and they're part of some decision making. Maybe it's not even intentional decision making, but you have some type of power in there, right? And other times young people are just seen as resources. We're seen as just having we're seen as having something to offer and bring to the table, where all of our values and all of our views are seen as like, wow, like what you had to say, like that's super important, and we should be taking that into account. We should be making notes. We should be listening to you, and we're encouraged to become involved. We're encouraged to be part of these systems, and are allowed to make changes, right? So these are different ways in which our city is really investing, and most of the time it's one where we're just seen as objects. And I don't know if anyone would like to share situations, maybe if you feel comfortable to or called to, where either you've been treated as that, maybe there's like a school system, or if you want to say like, yeah, I definitely agree with that, like feel free to unmute and share. But I just wanted us to kind of have this background of like, this is how the city is investing in us, so that we're able to come together and talk about what we want to see. Because right now the city is just telling us what we need, but what is it that we as young people want to see, and how do we want to have power, and how do we want to hone in into this new department? So I don't know if anyone feels called to share anything about that. Again, like feel free to unmute. This isn't a space where we want to talk at you. We want to talk with each other. But yeah, I'll open it a few seconds in case anyone wants to share. If not, it's totally okay.
Yeah, I definitely, Cassandra, I agree. I think there's a lot of statistics and surveys done about youth, like the disparities, the communities, what we're what we don't have, but like what are they doing about it? Like, yes, we know that these are the problems, but what is the city gonna do about it? I think that's what the city often doesn't it doesn't it doesn't respond to those that they all the surveys that they've done. They don't do anything. Like, okay, we understand, we have the information, but what are the next steps?
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of statistics, like you're saying, that they're sharing, but nothing is being done. There's no action, and young people aren't getting involved. Does anyone else want to share anything that they've noticed, maybe of how you're given power, how you're getting information shared, or maybe how you've seen services being offered? Do you have enough services in your community?
I feel like I would want like the youth to have like a say in the department's budget, just because like since it is going for them, then like they should be the ones that have like a say in it as well.
Yeah, definitely agree. It's for us, right? It's a youth development department for young people. Like, why are we not getting any resources or anything? So thank you for sharing. So I'll just transition over to, so what is this youth council, right? What is this new place of power? How are we even gonna get involved? So the youth development department was established with the goal of helping young people get resources in their community that perhaps we didn't have before. So not being told to, oh, go to that park. It's like, oh, actually, I don't have any like resources to give you. Sorry, go to the next park. Or, oh, sorry, we don't have anything either. Go to the next park. And if you all have ever experienced that, where you're told, sorry, I can't help you, I can't support you, that's something that happens there. But what this youth council and what this department seeks to do is give young people actual power. So like Eileen had mentioned, right? Maybe having a say in what this department's budget is going to look like and what we want to fund. So this youth council would really give the opportunity for young people to have a seat at the table and say, I've noticed this and I want power here. I want young people to have power in arts education. I want young people to have more say in the budget. But this youth council is going to be composed of 15 young people from all over the city of LA. I actually think it's 30 young people from all over the city of Los Angeles. So 30 young people are gonna have a seat at the table and be able to make decisions directly impacting this huge department in the city. So if you don't know, each young person is going to be chosen via an application. So right now, this department is very new, like they mentioned in the main breakout session, right? They barely chose a person an adult basically to head this department, but they haven't chosen young people to be part of this department to really share that information. So 15 young people from all over the city of Los Angeles, from each of the council districts, from each area in Los Angeles, are going to have the opportunity to have a say on what youth power looks to them and how they want to have power within the city. So these are applications and ways in which maybe you all want to apply to be like, you know what, I want to, be a part of, like we're not investing enough in arts right now. Let's have more investment in that. Or, hey, you printed this report. You said you were going to actually bring more youth service centers. I don't think you did that. So it's an opportunity for young people to hold people in power accountable. So what we want to ask you all today, through what we're going to do right now, is what type of power you want to see in this youth council, and what does it ideally look like? Like, what would you like meetings to look like? What would you like their power to be? Would you like for it to just be an adult talking to you and just be like, yeah, I agree or I disagree? Like, what is it that a youth council would look like to you? And what type of power you want to see? And I know that's a lot. So if anyone has any questions, like, feel free to unmute yourself. But let me know, because this is something new. Yeah, go for it, Rocket.
This is something I've thought a lot about, but my thoughts aren't super gathered right now. But I guess like my concerns around it are kind of similar to like any concerns with like any government positions. So because like these are going to be like youth, like young person positions, my question is that like youth have so much going on, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times we're in school, we have like a lot of things we have to do, responsibilities. And so my question is like, I guess my concern is like, I want there to be that balance of like youth being able to still like be a part of this to the extent that we can make actual change, but then also have that balance with like our other responsibilities. Like, are these going to be like full-time paid positions, part-time paid positions? Are there going to be enough youth that like can cover like meetings so that other people can like go to school and whatnot? Like, that's kind of what I'm thinking is like, I definitely don't want it to be like an adult saying things like an adult. Some of us are adults, but you know what I mean? Saying things and us being like, yes, no, like, I think that kind of is like underestimating our power and our knowledge and our experience. So like have it be like pretty much like completely youth led, right? With just like that advisor who probably needs to be there, but then also like keep in mind that like other responsibilities as well. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's super valid. Those are super valid questions that like, what is this department gonna look like? Am I gonna have responsibilities? And that's the beauty of the space right now, that we're able to think of these questions of like, hey, I want to get paid $30 an hour. I want a stipend. It's our opportunity to share what we want it to look like and shape it out so that we can present this to the new executive director and they can be like, oh, well, this is what the young people wanted to see. And you should probably uphold that. So all for, having paid positions and for our experiences and for whatever young person is chosen to be on that, to have those paid opportunities. But I heard someone unmute. So Alina, I think you wanted to say something.
Sorry, I had to turn off my camera because of the connection, but I would love to see, the youth council have power to do program implementation within the department, because youth voices, they live through those experiences and they know what's up. They know what they need, what they want, So I think that's something that I would want to see.
So thank you for sharing, Alina. Anyone else want to share? Like, I know it's daunting that, hey, like this is a whole new department. It's something that I kind of get to have input on, but what do you all want to see in this youth council? What are the types of power you want to have? Cece, I think you raised your hand.
Hi. So I would want for the youth voice to play a significant role in the decisions that are made, because these are programs for them. But I would also want to see diversity among the youth, because there are so many identities that need to be represented, whether that's religion, sex, gender, whatever it may be, so that there is a space for everyone, and because representation is so important.
Agreed. We need everyone's voices to be represented, but we definitely need those who are often not involved in these spaces. And I think it's really great that we do have different perspectives, because in that way we're not only hearing like one youth perspective, but the different ones that we do have across the city of LA. And I know sharing out loud right now can be a little difficult of thinking how this department is going to look like, how this youth council is going to be. So what we want to do right now with Nessa is kind of bring in that art form that we were sharing in the beginning into this expression of what we want a youth development department, youth council to look like. So we're going to be using kind of like these skills and these artistic forms that we were talking about earlier to be able to share that, because sometimes it's easier for us to be like, actually, I kind of want this to look like this, but if we're doing it in like a poem or if we're doing it in a song. So I'm gonna pass it over to Nessa to guide us in this conversation of how to continue thinking about what the YDD or what this youth council, what we want youth power in the youth council to look like in more of like a poem form. So Nessa, I'll pass it to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Before we go into this section, does anybody have any questions? Is this, let's see a raise of hands. Is this all information y'all have heard before? Is all this information new? A little bit? Just to get a sense of what the room is like. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, I can't really see a lot of you, but I think the thumbs up stand for it's something that's you're familiar with, that you're not familiar with. Awesome. Okay, so it's a big concept, right? Where it's like, okay, finally we, the space is opening up for youth to communicate. No problem, Eva, no problem. So let's kind of not fall back, but let's recall our artistic, our creative abilities, right? Where that's a lot of information. I don't know if anybody remembers the dollar amount that was said at the beginning of the work of the overall program that talked about how much the city of Los Angeles sets aside per youth. Does anybody remember that magic number? No. And I know some of us are late, no problem. But Cassandra, can you just remind us of those facts for a second? 85,
Yeah.
82.
Yeah, so the city of LA fluctuates between $80 to $85. So right now, Michelle just dropped it in the chat, but we're at 82, but it's not enough. It's just $80, right?
That's nothing. We spend more than that on one trip to the grocery store, that's a lot. That's nothing compared to these other states or cities. Not even enough for some Jordan, of course. Ooh, no. So there's a lot of just accountability that needs to be held. These city politicians, um, accountability over the money. $2 million, that's a lot of money, right? And as we said in our breakout group, so many amazing ideas of how to spend that money. But let's elaborate and let's get a little more deep into that within this space. So y'all heard this song that we all created in a collective effort. Today we won't be writing a song. We're gonna try to create some collective poetry, but I know we have some poets in the house also, and I want everybody to feel free writing any thought, any idea at home by yourselves, but I also want you to bring that into this space. So we're not going to get too deep into the formalities of what poetry is. I think that sometimes it's a little daunting, it's a little scary to say, oh, I have to fit into this box of poetry and I have to make this rhyme, this line rhyme with the other line, and I can't get my actual story across, right? So my main focus of work is I work with a corrido, the corrido form, which is very poetic in itself. It's very, it usually has like basic rhyme schemes. We count our syllables. It's usually in Spanish, but we're all bilingual, or the majority of us are bilingual in different languages. So let's kind of express our identity through our work, right? I don't want to fit in a box, because Spanglish is bad. I don't care. I just want to create no wrong. There's only right, because it's our narrative. So going back to controlling what we want, right? And stepping aside from here, you get $82. We're going to find out how to use it on you. No, it's like, no, let's get back into control of our narrative. So let's kind of think about maybe like a free verse kind of piece. The corrido works usually in the quatrains, in the 4 lines, and it could be like usually A B B A B A B kind of form. So where like the first line rhymes with the second line, the third rhymes with the fourth. But let's kind of just leave it open and see where we go and what we're able to create. But before we start a songwriting workshop, before I like to start any type of creative workshop, we need our material. So let's start kind of thinking and compiling our words. Even if we don't use them all, at least we have a visual idea of what we want to say. So let's see. I took some notes, but I want to hear from more people, and I want to add to this. Here we go. Oh, I can never tell if I did this right. I'm sorry, y'all. Here we go. That one looks better. Okay. Declaration of Youth Power. We're gonna put some questions in the chat box if I can figure out. I feel like such a grandma, y'all. I'm so sorry. Let's see, chat. Here we go. So if anybody has any ideas off the bat, off all the conversations we've had today, regarding any keywords, key ideas, maybe a saying that came to mind, does anybody have, what's your reaction? Anybody want to share? Just go ahead and unmute yourself. And also, of course, our trusty friend, the chat box. I want words. Where do we start? I'm gonna move this word down where inclusive, right? And I know for me, this inclusive means, yes, inclusive to being, taking into account the schedule of the youth. This idea where, okay, we're gonna have a youth development department, but we're only gonna meet Mondays at 10 a.m. That's usually the time when the youth are in school. Like, that doesn't work, right? So, ay Dios mío, there you go. So inclusive, right? And also the representation of all types of youth. Los Angeles is such a melting pot of cultures, of nationalities, of ideas. Anybody else have any words, keywords that have stuck out today? And if anybody's working already, cool. So I'm gonna put this in the chat box. This is fun. To me, youth power looks like, it sounds like, it feels like. To me, youth power looks like, sounds like, and it feels like. Yeah, having my ideas validated. Decision-making power. We're not just, just token youth, like, okay, they look good, they're young. Like, no, F that. Like, let's listen to what we're saying, what you're saying. I'm just an ally. Let's see, having a community you can look forward to support. Yes, seat at the table. Okay.
Sorry, I'm a little bit confused. Are we making these poems ourselves, or are we all making the poem together?
Great idea. Great question. Both. I think that both. I don't want to limit anybody to participate in a collective effort when your ideas are already flowing. Let those ideas flow. But also, like, if you can share some ideas with the collective group and this collective poem, then heck yes. And also, the idea of leaving it like open form is that as we're compiling what we want in our poem, maybe you have a sentence that or a line that you're already writing and you say, hey, that fits good, then you have something to contribute. So it's definitely both at the same time if possible.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so having validation of my ideas, decision-making power. Having a community you can look to for support. Supportive community. A seat at the table. Get some more. And of course, please just unmute yourselves. This is a working space. Being part of the conversation. How else could we say that? Being a part of the conversation. Actively involved in the conversation. Yes, beautiful points. Making ourselves be heard. Being heard. Together as one. Power in numbers, right? Together as one. Power in numbers. Future generations thank you. Future generations breaking barriers. That is so important. Thank you all. Youth led. Yes. Number one. Youth led. Acknowledging barriers. That's big. That is so big, right? So I did not spell that right. It's this idea of openness, right? Being open. It's easy to, oh yeah. Like we said in the song, que entre por uno y que salga por el otro, have it go in one and out the other. But acknowledging that even if you just have to be open. Include us all or none. Yes. Let's go ahead. Let's add this to here. All. Inclusion of all or none. Not being tokenized. My youth. Yes, that hey, we got a nice line here. Okay, hold on. Culturally Culturally relevant, intersectional. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All the work that y'all have been putting into this, and now you finally have a department within the city. I really hope that they listen to this. So I'm gonna copy this, if you don't mind, over here. Oh, you can't do that? My youth, your youth, our youth has power. There's things we do we all admire. I'm just gonna add a new, if you don't feel comfortable with us using it, please say, hey, take that down. That's mine. My youth, your youth, our youth has power.
It's this.
Pardon? Did I miss something? Culturally relevant, intersectional, involve each council district in LA City because each community is unique. Yes. Youth. Yeah. Heck yes. Okay, we have a lot of information here, and let's make this a little more easy to look at. And I'm going to break this into 3 columns. Having a say in the budget. These are all, yes, you can private chat. As some have, thank you all. Thank you all. Yes, it's participation. All right, full transparency. Okay. Okay, so super cool. I'm still muted. No, I'm not. Okay. Yeah, anybody else want to contribute? And this is a work in progress, right? Like anybody can chime in at any time. I just wish I could see more faces at once. I get 2, 4, 6, and 6. Okay, that'll work. So let's go back to this question. To me, youth power looks like, sounds like, feels like. We're gonna start. How do we start? This is the Declaration of Youth Power poem. So the idea of, we want to declare what youth power looks like to us and what we want the youth development department to look like, what it should do, right? So we're gonna start with, we declare. Okay, I'm gonna get up for 1 minute real quick, but when I get back, hopefully, there you go, your voice, this is really good. Not our voice. Wow, this is awesome. Yes. Heck yes. Don't now be heard, no matter how hard you try to bring us down. All right. Wow, we've come up with some great things.
Nessa,
Oh.
there's also one from Eva.
I'm so sorry if I missed that. Okay. Let me. Okay, let me type this one in. Ensuring we maintain our while we are aided in skill development in all areas of our lives. Health, housing, employment, etc. etc. Thank you, Eva. Okay, so we declare, maybe we don't have to start it like that. Time check. Okay. We got 10 minutes. Oh my goodness, y'all. Where has time gone? Okay. So let's start. How about, let's see, where do we start? Yep, time. We're having fun. I am. So how do we start? And okay, so let me break this down a little bit more. So a corrido is basically a Mexican, well, not just Mexican, but it's a storytelling song. And the big word that comes with it is literal. So it's literal facts, literal ideas. Why? Because in the old days, there wasn't email, there wasn't, this rapid sharing of information. So we use words, but also there's like a who, what, where, when, and why, and a moral, right? But in the corrido form, there's also, what do you do when you see someone? You do the hello, hi, ¿cómo estás? Or the goodbye. So I think I would really love to bring the audience or the reader or the listeners attention by calling it, right? By, just opening that up nice and strong. So how do we open up our poem? We declare, we also don't have to use that, the we declare. We can also say, and going back to this idea, youth power looks like, sounds like, and feels like. So how about we make it very sensory to begin with? So youth power, we'll just start there. Looks like, youth power looks like, or youth power looks as diverse as, going back to, it's not the same type of people. Everybody looks different, right? So youth power looks as diverse. Anybody able to finish my line here? Youth power looks as diverse. I'm gonna keep this here. Heck yes. Okay. Okay. Youth power vested in the power of the youth, we declare. As the, how do we, as diverse as the colors of the universe. How about all voices? No, not all voices, because we're very specific. We're talking about all youth voices. Let's see. Do we have anything? There you go. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Wilflo, and thank you, Tanya. Yes. Awesome. So all youth voices vested in the power. I don't know where that's going. Okay. Vested in the power. Did we say youth here? Of youth? We declare we are as diverse as the color of the universe. Our voices I like this. Our voices, I like the idea of choices. Our voices, what is a good word we can use here to glue this together? Vested in the power of youth, we declare. We are as diverse as the colors of the universe. Our voices, something choice. Let's see. Anybody have something to share? You can all mute yourself. And then we'll find a way to fine tune it and make it rhyme. So we got 5 minutes really. Okay. So I love all of these lines that everybody has already come up with. Our voices are, let's see, well, our voices ensuring, yes, our voices yell the desire. No, it's not the desire, it's the freaking human right? It's our voices yell the demand of, and then kind of like how do we put that point into words here that are gonna rhyme? Vested in the power of youth, we declare we are as diverse as the colors of the universe. Our voices yell the demand of, and then we have all these words up here. Is there a weird word here? The demand of your care. Yes. Of your care. Why? As we, maybe deserve works here. Deserve. Let's just to keep the rhyme scheme. Is there a word in all of this that can rhyme with universe? Oh, unless we finish here.
Universe rhymes with diverse.
With universe rhymes with just which one?
Diverse.
Diverse. Okay. Is there another word that we can use here instead of diverse so we don't use it twice? Deserve, diverse, universe.
I mean, words that rhyme with universe are like curse, worse, hearse, but that's a little bit macabre.
As we deserve something something rhymes with universe. Can we get there? As we deserve. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just thinking.
As we deserve. Or even, I mean, if we put something.
We could say like we deserve more than the coins at the bottom of your purse.
I can't believe this. We got one. One little, I would call it a paragraph if I was writing a corrido, but I'm not. But these lines, vested in the power of youth we declare, stanza, thank you. We are as diverse as the colors of the universe. Our voices yell the demand of your care. We deserve more than the coins at the bottom of your purse. Y'all did this. And also, like, not just this, y'all did this. Don't stop now. We will be heard no matter how hard you try to bring us down. Come on, like, undo. But come on, like, that fits if we were to start something else, right? It's this whole idea, and I think that's the idea where it doesn't matter if it's poetry, if it's a corrido, if it's a mural, the way society has been, right? They want to put us into these boxes of just listen to what we say, but we have more power on our side than just, conversation at their board meetings. We have more power to desahogarnos and to get it all out. So I think we did good, pretty good with 2 minutes to spare for now. Cassandra, do you have anything you want to add, or anybody, any questions, comments, or complaints? Where are we?
Vanessa, I think Cassandra was having issues with her audio, but this is fire. I'm like rereading this, like somebody gotta say this in the open mic because this is bomb. And I know we have like 1 minute left, but shout out to everybody that participated, that was listening in. Like, I'm just so excited. I can't stop smiling. And I know we got like 1 minute left, but it would be cool if like somebody in group number 1 could share back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and there's more. I don't want to share who wrote this because, it wasn't private, but I'm going to read it real quick. Vested in the power of youth, we declare, for too long we have trusted you with our care. Our voices are diverse. We are the future of this universe. We deserve more than pennies on the floor. Ah, that is so good. Please save that. I can't copy and paste it to this document, but I wish I could. So I'm going to put this in the chat box in case y'all want to add to this. This is your work. This is our work. You're the focus though. And hopefully that y'all ever need anything, I'm here. But great job. Thank you for your participation. And hopefully you can take this process of, being in collaboration, in community and collective and creating, not only with your orgs, with your peers, with fellow students, but also with your families. These are all conversations that we have to just not be afraid to have. Our voices matter. So thank you all. Let's all go back.